Hello everyone, this is Miss Privatera. Okay, I've had a couple of parents asking me about how to show the regrouping, especially since I don't kind of want it to be done the traditional or standard way. And this is basically what I can say. And unfortunately, all I've got, I don't have my tens rods or ones units. So I'm going to use tens rods are going to be my markers. And my units are going to be Smarties because I like food. Anyway, so if we were to show what this would look like using manipulatives, and here is my question here, what's 23 plus 45? Well, this was a non-grouping one, and you'll see why in just a second. Okay, so if we have 23 plus 45, so I would use the two tens rods and 3 ones. If you have food, this also does work. If you have pretzel sticks, they work really well for your tens rods, just so you know. And I was going to use Cheerios, but I have none. Anyway, so if this is 23, and then I'm going to have 45. So here's my 4 groups of, oh, sorry, I have one too many. 4 groups of 10, 10, 20, 30, 40. And then I want to add my 5 ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. So when I want to find out how much this is all together, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to count. I like to count my tens first, okay? And if you want to do it, if you want to move them so that they're together, you can do that. You don't have to. All right, so let's count our tens first. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. And then we count on with our ones. 61, 62, 63. 64, 65, 66, 67, 68. So when we add this all together, we have 68. And a lot of people get that. It makes sense. If you wanted to show that same thing with the pictures that we've been talking about, let me just clear my space over here. What I would do is for 23, I would draw 2 tens rods. That's why I like using pictures to help with my ones, 1, 2, 3. And then for my ones, for my other side, I've got 45, so 10, 20, 30, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45. So, and then the same thing happens. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68. So most of my friends, they understand that, and I'm sure mom and dads do as well. But here we go with something that's called regrouping. And this is why I say to students that it doesn't matter whether or not you actually regroup as long as you understand the idea. And I want you to think back to our banker game. Now, moms and dads have no idea what I mean by banker game, but boys and girls, you do. So I want to start with another question. So I have 37 and I'm going to add 28. I don't know. I'm just pulling out 2 numbers. So I'm trying to figure out what is my answer. Well, right now, just looking at my ones, I already know this is going to be a regrouping. And sorry, I know I'm getting some reflection there from my thing. There we go. It's much better. All right. So if I were thinking back to our banker game, we would take our tens rods to make 37. Okay. So if I had tens rods, here's my 3 groups of 10. Oops, you guys know this. And then my 7 ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And one more makes 7. So there, I've got 37. Okay, and now I want to add 28. So here's my 2 groups of 10 for 20. And then I'm going to add my 8 ones. 2, 4, 6, and 8. Okay, so here we have 37 plus 28. This is what it looks like if we're not drawing pictures, okay? Here's where the grouping comes in. I know this number here is 7, and 7 is really close to 10. Right? And we've talked about before, it's a lot easier to make a group of 10. Well, how many more do I need to make a group of 10? Well, if you know 7 plus a number gives you 10, that number that you have to add is 3. So what I do is I take my 3 ones here, I bring them over, okay? I go banker, I want to trade that, so I'm going to take them off and hope they don't fall on the floor, but that's okay if they do. And I'm going to trade that for a tens rod. All right, so I've made a group of 10 with my leftover, and then whatever I have left here are my leftover ones, okay? So it's still the same idea, all right? But what we did was we just traded those 10 ones for a tens rod, all right? So that would be 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65. So our answer is going to be 65. All right. How does this look like if we choose not to actually regroup, but you'll still get the same answer? Let me show you with pictures. All right, so 37, we know again, there's 3 groups of 10, and we use our tens rods. This helps us remember. And our ones, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so here's 10, 20, 30, and we have 7 more makes 37. All right, let's go to that 28. So here's 2 groups of 10. Sorry again for my, they should be the same, but I'm just kind of going really quickly. And so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so far I've got 37 here and I've got 28 here. All right, so sometimes our friends don't want to trade because they might not understand that concept. That's okay. If the pictures help you, use the pictures. And do the same thing that we did before. Always start by counting your tens and then count on by your ones. All right, so let's do that. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Now let's count our ones. 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65. It gives us the same answer. How would I use the same thing to show that regrouping, but this time with your picture? Well, this is what you do. You think about this again. We know that this is 7. And we can take away these 3 more and add them with it to make another group of 10. You can either choose to erase that and draw that group of 10, just like I did when I was using the markers to use as the tens rods. Or you can just say, I know that's a group of 10, so I'm going to count that all as my group of 10 before I count. So let's try that. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65. I still get that same answer of 65 because nothing has changed. So boys and girls or parents who are listening, if you would rather use actual manipulatives, because that's what we would actually do in the classroom for a while before we went on to doing the column addition as we would do it or the standard addition, then do that. If your child is ready for that, I'm going to show you what to do. All right, so again, here we've got our question. But this time, oops, sorry, it's unfocusing. So I like to write these out horizontally. But when we do the standard has it written vertically. Okay, so we have 37 plus 28. If your child is not ready for this, please do not go on to this because this is really tricky to understand. Because what we're really saying is that this is not just 3. This is 3 groups of 10, okay? Which is what we know when we say 37. The 3 does not mean 3. It means 30, all right? So we can say, well, what's 7 plus 8? Well, that's, if you figure it out, because 7 plus 7, if it was a double, would be 14, and 1 more makes 15. So I have 15. Well, 15 is a 1 group of 10, and 5 ones. So these are all 10s, and these are all 1s, okay? So that's where that 1 comes from. So this is 1 group of 10 plus 3 groups of 10 plus 2 groups of 10. Well, that gives us 6 groups of 10. So that 6 is not 6. It means 6 groups of 10, or 60, and 5 more makes 65. So if your child is ready for this, feel free to do it. But a lot of my friends right now are really into that manipulative stage where they're actually using hands-on or they're drawing and they understand that. Okay, so those are some of the things that we've been talking about for grouping, which is these kind of questions, and non-grouping, which was like the first question I gave you. I hope that helps. If you have any questions, please let me know.